And I've seen firsthand that when you bet on yourself, incredible things happen. Okay? Doesn't mean it's not scary, doesn't mean it's not hard, doesn't mean that it always feels good. But when you bet on yourself, incredible things will happen. And I want this to be a lesson for all of us. Doing hard things that we don't fully understand can unlock the most meaningful experiences in our lives and our business. Welcome to Girls Make Bank, the podcast show for women who want to learn the art of selling for business and for life. I'm Jack White, seasoned sales professional, entrepreneur, and owner of Honeybees Group. Come back each week to hear inspiring stories from some of our favorite business owners. Learn how to take the ache out of selling and make bank. We're all in this together, so let's get started. Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Girls Make Bank. It has been 5 months since we've launched this podcast, and I felt like it was the right time to give an update. If you've been following along, you know that this has been a huge season of growth for me, transformation in my business, and I wanted to let you know what's been going on in the last 5 months because I want you to understand how much can change in a short amount of time when you're focused on doing the right things. So in this season, I have done new and uncomfortable things. Uncomfortable. It's my word of the year. I am putting myself out there in bigger ways. I am growing this Honeybees and Girls Make Bank community, and I am leaning in to what truly lights me up, which is helping women sell. Today, I want to take you inside and give you a look at how my business has evolved, walk you through some of the big shifts I've made, and tell you what's next at Honeybees Group, at Girls Make Bank, including how you can be a part of a new cohort of the Honeybees Sales Circle that launches in April. So stick around for that. But first, let's rewind. So I think most of you know, because I've talked about it a lot, I've spent the first 15 years of my career working for both corporate and VC-backed startups, doing business development, sales, partnerships. And 10 of those years, maybe more, maybe 12 of those years were spent at VC-backed startups. So big ideas, big funding, big, fast growth, big and fast, big and fast, big and fast. That was the name of the game. 7 years ago, when we became pregnant with our son, it took us a long time to get there, and I sort of needed a shift. That was my accidental entrepreneur moment. I talk about that a lot, where a lot of us never planned on starting our own companies. Something changed in our lives. Maybe we lost our job, and we find ourselves being business owners. That was my accidental entrepreneur moment. 7 years ago, I launched Honeybees Group, which is my advisory and consulting firm. And for the first few years, I continued to work with early stage VC-backed companies or hyper growth companies. I called them my baby companies, my baby startups, my baby businesses, and my teenager businesses. My baby businesses were early stage, pre-revenue, pre-funding. And then my teenager businesses had been around for a few years. Maybe they had taken on some funding and they were ready to basically figure out what they wanted to be when they grew up, like a teenager. And that's what I did for the first few years. I helped those companies find revenue and build revenue systems, business development lines within their business. And I loved it. And then I started feeling like kind of out of alignment with that. I even considered, I have not talked about this publicly, but I even considered going back and taking a full-time role within corporate. I was really trying to figure out how I could make the most impact. And I was like not quite jiving with my business at that point. And so I had talked to a couple of recruiters. I talked to my friends who had recently gone back into the corporate world and was really considering that and looked around, kind of looked at my resume that I hadn't updated in like a decade at least. And everything I looked at just did not feel right. And when I thought about the lifestyle change I was going to have to make, my family was going to have to make, it definitely was quickly like not an option, but I knew something needed to change in my business. At the same time, something was happening in our world. Um, my friends were getting laid off from six-figure jobs in corporate, or they had left corporate during the pandemic or for whatever reason, and they had started agencies, consultings, they were fractionals. They were having a really hard time making money in their business. And they were paying all of these coaches and buying all of these programs that were supposed to teach them how to sell. And they were getting lackluster results. And so it was really kind of irking me and rubbing me the wrong way. And what I realized is like women are brilliant. My friends are brilliant at what they do. They struggle with how to sell. They undercharge. They hesitate and feel weird asking about money. And the marketplace had changed. It it's like way harder to be noticed. Companies aren't hiring and like paying, consultants and fractionals as easy as they were. And so these two things were happening at the same time. And so I realized at that moment, like something had clicked and I knew what I wanted to do. And that was like shift my business to focus on women. And my husband is actually the one that really gave me this idea. He was so sick of hearing me kind of talk about what was going on and what my friends were going through. And he was like, "Can you just go build what it is they need? Like, I don't want to hear about this anymore. Just go do it. Like, this is perfect for you." And I sort of sat back and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Yes, this is perfect for me. This is what I'm going to do." And it makes so much sense because I've always been a huge believer in women, our ability to understand money, build businesses that fit for us, for our families, and provide a good livelihood. So everything really started to fall into place. Now, let's talk about the last 5 months and what I've been doing and what that looks like, because I don't want to sugarcoat it. It has been hard work. Pivoting your business, doing things that are uncomfortable is uncomfortable and hard. Okay. Now, for me, that means putting myself out there. In my old business, I only ever had 3 to 4 clients at a time, and it was all referral based. This new business that I'm building, Honeybees Group, Sales Circle, Girls Make Bank, I have to put myself out there. I am building something new, and it is vulnerable to do that. Okay, I've talked about this before. It took me a while to get to the point where I was willing to transition my business because I knew it meant I had to become visible. Now, I give my podcast producer, Jess, so much credit here because we spoke for about 9 months before I was ready to start my podcast. And on and off, was interviewing a bunch of producers. I was like really thinking about a podcast for a long time. And she was the one that like solidified this as my platform for me. She's now become a friend, someone I look to for inspiration. She's also a part of my membership, the Honeybee Sales Circle. Now, before I could pivot my business, I had to push past 3 things. Number one was the fear of visibility. I've talked about this before. Showing up on LinkedIn, Instagram, doing this podcast, right? The fear of putting myself out there and people being able to see me. The second thing that I had to get past was the challenge of pivoting, letting go of work that no longer served me or my business, and kind of letting my revenue dip before I could build it back up again. But the reality of starting fresh and launching something new when I had already been successful in another space was like, okay, am I going to be able to do it? What is this going to feel like? Starting fresh is hard. So I had to get over those 3 things. Now, Jess very much helped me find my voice, organize my thoughts, encouraged me to do something that felt scary. And really, she gave me the permission and let me know that it was okay to be afraid of it. It was okay to not be the best at it, but not let that hold me back from doing something that would help me and so many women. So, in my opinion, everyone needs a Jess in their life because it is so much easier to do scary things when you have someone standing beside you, letting you know it's okay. Okay. So, here's the thing. Now that I am 5 months in and I'm on the flip side, I can tell you that I have regained a spark in myself. Not just a spark, a flame and a roaring fire. I am on fire about this business that I'm building and what I'm doing. I have more clarity. I have more purpose. I have more energy than I have had in years. And I've seen firsthand that when you bet on yourself, incredible things happen. Okay. Doesn't mean it's not scary. Doesn't mean it's not hard. Doesn't mean that it always feels good. But when you bet on yourself, incredible things will happen. And I want this to be a lesson for all of us. Doing hard things that we don't fully understand can unlock the most meaningful experiences in our lives and our business. Okay. So, a lot of times we think we need to fully understand things before we do it, and we don't. Doing the things is what brings us to an understanding, right? So, I didn't know how I fully wanted to show up before I did it. But by doing it, I have come to understand the importance of showing up. Okay. So, let's talk about the sales circle, because this is one of the best things to come out of my business, not only in the last year, but in the last 7 years. That is the Honeybees Sales Circle. So, the sales circle is the sales membership community that I am building for women small business owners who are ready to grow their businesses, increase sales, and improve profitability in their business. Right now, we have 6 women in this current cohort that launched in February, my first cohort. These are going to be my OG Sales Circle members. And I can tell you that in the short time since we've launched, the transformation of these 6 women is so amazing and real and inspiring. In the short amount of time, so 1 month, 5 weeks, really, we've been in the sales circle, we have built clarity on who we were targeting, confidence in how we speak to leads. We are starting to build email funnels in a way that builds trust, positions us as authority leaders in our industries. And these women light me up. And we are so excited to jump on our group calls and jump into the community chat. The community chat is on fire with so much more than just sales circle work. It is so much fun. And so here's what we're focusing on inside the Honeybee Sales Circle. Number 1, how to attract your ideal dream clients. So, no more waiting around, no more hoping people find you, no more only depending on referrals, right? How do you start to attract your dream clients? Number 2, how do you have authentic sales conversations? Goodbye, awkward pitching. Hello, confidence. Goodbye, this idea that you never have to get on a sales call to sell. If somebody's telling you that, like, please run the other way. We are learning how to have authentic, real, honest, confident sales conversations. The third thing, and this is super important to every business, is pricing and profitability. Stop undercharging. Start getting paid for what you're worth and understand the real numbers in your business. If you haven't purchased and looked at the profit planner, the Honeybees Profit Planner, please go check that out because I talk a lot about profitability, pricing, and like understanding the financial fundamentals in your business. The fourth thing we're looking at is email and social selling. So we're building 2 funnels within the sales circle. One is email and one is another platform of your choice. Could be Instagram, LinkedIn, podcasting, webinars, whatever it might be. Your audience needs to hear from you and they need to hear from you regularly. And so we're building 2 funnels. The next thing we're looking at is follow-ups and closing. So follow-ups always feel so weird for most of us. How often do we do it? How do we do it without seeming annoying or pushy? Okay? So a lot of people just don't do it, quite frankly. I want you to know that you are leaving money on the table if you don't have a follow-up system. So we're building one within the sales circle. And then the other thing we are doing is, all of this kind of gets us to create our sales system. And the reason sales systems are so important is it becomes the consistency that you need in your business to make revenue on a regular basis, right? That's what we all want: predictable, consistent, growing revenue and profits. So that's what we're doing. So sales becomes second nature. It's not something that you're avoiding, and you have a system that you can rinse and repeat over and over again that helps you reach your business goals. Now, the next sales circle kicks off on April 22nd. So from the time we launch, that is 4 short weeks. And if you are feeling stuck in your business, this is your chance to be a part of an intimate group of women who will grow alongside you for the next 12 months. Okay. Now, the sales circle is going to change. I promised myself that I would launch 2 cohorts. The first one launched in February, the next one launched in April. And then I am going to evaluate this program, and I can tell you that the format may shift and definitely the price is going to increase. So if you at all have been following along, listening to anything I've done, and you are intrigued about working with me and joining the sales circle, I can tell you that now is the time to do it. So let's talk about why I've structured things the way they are. Why are we doing a small group instead of sort of this massive? Why am I not trying to go to scale right off the bat? I want everyone to be able to get feedback and support, because this is really how we're going to learn and grow our business. Okay. This isn't just a watch these videos and you're off and doing it on your own. The reason I'm only letting a small number of women into each cohort is so that I can give everyone individualized feedback and support. I want you to know that you build confidence by selling together. There is something so powerful about having a small group of women who have your back as you are on this selling and business growing journey. And you make money faster because we are actively implementing these things in our business. Okay. So I have you on a timeline for when we are building and when we are launching and when we are actively growing our funnels within our business. And because we are doing it together and holding each other accountable, we're actually implementing and getting feedback and adjusting. And that means that you're going to make money faster. So here's the thing. You can still be a part of our founding cohort. I'm calling the February and the April cohorts my founding cohorts, my OG Sales Circle members. This is where you're going to get the most access to me, the highest level of personalized feedback. And like I said, after this, I'm going to be slightly tweaking the program and increasing the price. So if you've been thinking of working with me, I want you to really, really consider joining the sales circle in the April cohort, because this is the time to do it. Now, a few key takeaways that I want you to think about as we wrap this up. I know, because I've experienced this, if something isn't working in your business, it is okay to pivot. If you have been avoiding sales, now is the time to change that. And I want you to know that you don't have to do it alone, okay? The Honeybees Sales Circle is here to help you build confidence, to give you a community, and help you build a business that makes sense and makes money. So here's how you apply. Go to my website, honeybeesgroup.co/membership, and you will see an application. Fill that out and set up time with me to chat. Let's figure out together if this is the right program for you or not. Let's figure out if this is the right membership for you. Let's think about if this is the right thing. Let's get you into that April cohort so that we can really start making moves in your business this year. I want to leave you with this one final thought. Selling isn't just about making money, okay? I took a huge step back in revenue for this year to launch this new thing. It's not just about making money. It's about building the business you actually want, okay? Let's do it together. One thing I want you to think about this week as you're going through your week. Are you selling in your business the way you want to be selling? Do you have a sales system that is working, that's repeatable, that's scalable, that's consistent? If the answer is yes to both of those questions, great. But if you have doubts or you feel like you need to be doing things a little bit different, I want you to come apply to be in the sales circle. I want you to come join us and let's do it together. I cannot wait to see you in the sales circle. I cannot wait to see you back here next week. And until then, let's support each other and let's keep making bank. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Make Bank. If you like what you've heard, please remember to subscribe, like, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Please review and share our show to help spread the word and help your girls make bank. And I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or visit honeybeesgroup.co. Until next time, friends.